Squid Game. Man, did I love Squid Game. There was a point in time when the entire population was captivated by this Netflix original, and it almost felt like the world was watching together. I would even go as far as to say that Squid Game is the closest we've been to world peace. And straight up, it was a pretty good show. The plot was good, the characters were good, the games were good, and it generated some good memes, which is extremely important. It's an all-around pretty good show. If you haven't seen Squid Game, which I don't know how you haven't at this point, I can sum up the show in a few short sentences. Boom. Secret organization kidnaps a bunch of people in extreme debt. I'm talking like extreme debt. They force them to play games to win a shit ton of money, and I add quotes around games because they're not just normal games. Like, yeah, they're games, I guess, technically speaking, but you're not respawning. The last man or woman standing is set free and wins all the money. Perfect plot, right? No, it's not a perfect plot. The show really shines through its storytelling of each character, really good cliffhangers, and just well-designed games. The show makes you feel like each character really does deserve the money, but you know there can only be one winner. If we were to take Squid Game, but instead of a bunch of random people, we bring a group of 5 close friends, we have Spring 2022's anime Tomodachi Game. Our main character Yuuichi and his closest friend seem to have an unbreakable bond, but when 2 million yen for the school's upcoming field trip is stolen, seeds of doubt start to sprout. You like that little rhyme there? Stop, I know. Yuuichi and his friends are tricked into meeting up, and then they essentially get Squid Gamed. They wake up in a strange room and learn that one of them is the culprit of the stolen field trip money, but that's not the worst of it. The culprit is also the one responsible for gathering them together to clear their own personal debt of 20 million yen, which is now equally distributed among the 5 friends, 4 million yen apiece. To pay off this ridiculous debt, the group must participate in a series of psychological games which are meant to test the strength of their friendship. The person who wins each game gets their debt lowered significantly while the loser's debts increase. So each contestant starts with $4 million of debt and can potentially leave with a lot more if they suck ass at these games. Or if they're cracked out and play their cards absolutely perfect, they can come out the same way they left. Now you see where this is kind of a problem. Obviously, somebody's fucking over everyone else, and this already starts to pit the group against each other. By the way, this is all in episode 1. When I tell you this show gets started fast, in episode 1 they are already playing the first game. Because of this, the main roster for the show comes off as extremely bland to start off with. We got a smart man, goofy man, shy woman, tsundere woman, and our typical friendly, witty main character man, Yuuichi. How do we know they're such good friends? Well, because the show tells us they are. You probably won't give a shit about any of these characters, and that's fine. I mean, to me it is, I don't know. The games played by the group are designed to break their friendship and cause as much tension in the group as possible, and that's where the enjoyment stems from. Fuck the characters, focus on the mind games.
You're a liar! It had to be you knowing
the psychological warfare going on. The characters really who they say they are? Is this person really the villain, or is he really the hero? The entertainment of the show isn't supposed to come from some really lovable characters, no. It's supposed to come from these quote-unquote best friends with an unbreakable bond fucking each other over. For example, one of the games is literally just who can submit the worst roast about each other.
So I'll tell you what, you fat little cunt. You're boring, you don't sound Nigerian at all, so go and fuck yourself. Go and fucking crawl in a dirty
Now the longer you watch, the better it gets. Fuck the 3-episode rule. If anything, the episodes after episode 3 are the sole reason I've kept watching. The show is relatively cliche, but strangely enough, it still somehow manages to surprise me here and there. There are well thought out plot twists thrown at nearly perfect times to keep me watching. Another personal fun aspect I find in this show is watching the main character come up with different strategies to try and solve the games, because some situations just seem fucked. And I'm like, yo, how was he about to get out of this? Then he hits the little boom, bow, 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 and it gets revealed, and you're like, damn, I ain't even think of that, that's crazy. It almost gives me like an L versus Light type of vibe, because I would always try and figure out how L was gonna just fuck over Light, and this kind of reminded me of it. My summary of the plot really only scratches the surface of the true story, as you'll realize if you decide to continue watching. This simple original plot expands to a story with much more possibilities on how it can progress. And as a person who's continued watching, I can tell you that I've been thoroughly enjoying the way the story has been progressing. The characters who originally seemed bland are like decent now, and they have some sort of substance. If you continue watching, you'll realize that the characters being well written didn't really matter a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. While the show does have its flaws, such as the animation being kind of mediocre, it is pretty predictable, characters are kind of bland, and there are some minor logical plot holes that people are complaining about. Like, for example, how they would preferably beat the game, or why the main character's strategy to beat the game sucks. Or shit like,
why don't they just leave? Why would they stay in the game and help a friend that's backstabbed them?
like my brother. This is anime. Relax. Do you honestly expect high calculated, thought out decisions from anime characters? It's like watching scary movies and being angry that the characters are retarded. Come on, we know this. The plot holes are just so minor that it doesn't even really matter if you don't think about them and just enjoy the show. This anime isn't insane or anything like that, but it's pretty good, you know, worth checking out. I've heard the manga's pretty good as well, so if you continue watching, it looks like we're in for a pretty good story. If you are a fan of mind games, psychological thrillers, this show is something you might want to add to your watch list. It's been Routemeadow. Bye bye.